Whew, what a game, what a game. And once again, this team, like I said, they like to prove me wrong. They like to surprise me in multiple ways. And today was no exception. Tonight was one of the best games of a very good college football day, double overtime. And we came out on top, 35-34 against the number 24 team in the league. That'll drop them out of the rankings. I don't think it'll push us into it, but it does put us back in a position where I think we're back in it, because after last week I kind of thought we were done because we were going to play, four ranked teams in a row, and I just felt like we were going to go into a tumble, but now we're in a position. Now we might be able to do something. So, this game, we started out so good. We had three quick touchdown drives. Jake Locker was on point. Jermaine Kearse catching passes, bringing them in. He had the bad game last week against ASU. Today he made up for it as well as any receiver could. So Kearse, 150-yard game, 4 touchdowns. Absolutely sick from him. You can't ask for much more. Goodwin brought in, his catches. And, it was really just those two guys, but, I'm not complaining. Whoever wants to get it done, because, we didn't have Aguilar out there. So for us to be so proficient through the air without Aguilar, there's really nothing you can complain about with that. Locker played a solid game, 286, 5 touchdowns, and, I don't feel like he played as well as the statistics necessarily indicate, because for most of the second quarter and second half, he didn't really do much of anything. But, in overtime, he showed up. He hit 2 touchdown passes in overtime, and it was enough. So, I'm not going to say anything bad about Locker. I mean, you could say he did some stuff that you don't like to see in, like I said, the second half, but you can't argue with 5 touchdowns. He did it with his legs, and he's playing with a thigh injury. 60 yards rushing, picking up first downs, picking up tough yards. He did it all, and, you can't say enough. He's not a Heisman candidate this year. The team isn't good enough. But if you look at the way he embarrassed himself against Nebraska, a lot of people were questioning how good he really was. So for him to go out there on a national stage like he did tonight and play really well, it helps. So yeah, the offense early on looked awesome. 3 fast touchdowns, and then the rest of the game we did nothing. I don't know what happened. I couldn't tell you what happened. I felt like we were able to run the ball pretty well the whole game. Again, I got to give it up to Chris Polk, 105, 30 yards receiving as well. So Polk played his game, and, he's going to have another good season, probably better than the one he had last year. So that's all awesome. Yeah, we ran the ball effectively, which was something I didn't think we were going to be able to do. But offensive line, a makeshift offensive line held up. And offensively, we were really able to move the ball effectively, and something like 450 yards of offense. That's, we outgained Oregon State considerably. It just seemed like in the second half we were able to run the ball pretty well, but we had a harder time, converting third downs. The passing game wasn't as effective. So, throughout that game, our offense was never really bad. We just weren't able to finish. So, yeah, I mean, this offense it's, the things that I complained about last week, for the most part, I don't really have anything to complain about this week. It wasn't perfect, and I still have some of the same issues, but what we did worked to the tune of, 21 regulation points and 2 overtime touchdowns. Defensively, again, we started out the game really well, containing Rodgers, that dude, he is so elusive. it is sickening how elusive that guy is. I mean, later in the game, he did run all over us, 140 yards, and he had 50 yards receiving. He caught a touchdown, ran for 3 touchdowns. So yeah, he got his. I mean, don't get me wrong, the dude got his. But early in that game, we did a great job on him, and even later, I didn't really have a problem with how we played against him because he's good, and I wasn't surprised that he had nearly 200 yards. So I don't really mind that. What I do like is the defense became opportunistic. We got pressure on Katz, who really did not have a good game. We sacked him quite a few times. He threw 3 picks. 2 of them were pretty much his fault. One of them was off a tip. But for us to bring in those, interceptions instead of, just giving them up, just, missing that opportunity to give the ball to your offense is big. So I was really happy to see that. Without those turnovers, we don't win this game because I guess we both turned it over 3 times because Locker had the pick, which, not his best throw, and he had the 2 fumbles, one of which was him running into his own guy. So, I said last week that we weren't able to force a turnover against Arizona State, and I didn't feel good about that at all. And tonight we forced 3 on Oregon State, and they don't turn the ball over much. So, for us to really limit their offense, I mean, for them it was Jacques Rogers, and they didn't really have anything else going for them, and I don't have a problem with that. So, yeah, for us to be opportunistic because, for the most part, I know this defense isn't going to shut teams down. It's not that kind of defense. It's not going to shut good teams down. I mean, we still gave up 350 offensive yards, but, that's not horrible. And for us to come with some turnovers, yeah, I'll take it. That sounds perfectly fine to me. So yeah, you know, I know that sounds kind of weird because this was a big win, and basically what I have to say in general is that the first half of the game was great, or slightly less than the first half, and the second half was bad, and then in overtime we just went back and forth and we threw the final punch, and so you could say there's a lot good to take away from the game and a lot bad, but I'm just happy with the way this team bounced back from a tough loss last week. And, in overtime, when we went to overtime, I really thought Oregon State I didn't know how we were going to stop them. So I knew the offense had to score. I knew we'd have to score possibly 3 overtime touchdowns and then hope for the best. And, you know, um, Locker converting the 3rd down in the first overtime for the touchdown to Curse. Great throw. And then in the second overtime, great throw. One of the best throws he's thrown in a while to Curse again for the second touchdown. He was on point, and when we needed him, he brought it. It was great. And, that last drive by Oregon State, I was mad. The 3rd and 22 that they converted, it made me sick. I know the secondary isn't very good, but that was ridiculous to give up a 25-yard pass on, I think it was 3rd and 22. That drove me crazy, drove me up the wall. And then, the pass interference on 4th down in the end zone. And, at first I thought it looked like bull, but at first it did look like bull, but, they showed the replay in Trufant's hand. And I don't know, but Trufant, I don't think he's been playing that well this year. He's getting on my nerves. So, he wrapped the arm. It was interference, and, it gave him the touchdown, and then I didn't feel great about it when Oregon State went out there to convert for the 2-point conversion. It looked like for a second he might have it, but number 31, he stuck his hand in there, or not even really his hand, more like his head, tipped it a little bit, and that was just enough to knock it out of his hands, and we're the winners. So, intense game, double overtime, one of the best games in recent memory. I loved watching it, and throughout that whole game, I didn't know. I mean, as Oregon State built their comeback and got to, 21-21, I thought we were done because they had all the momentum. Our offense wasn't coming together for our offense. Their defense was taking it to us all of a sudden. We couldn't stop Jacques Rogers, couldn't do anything. And for us to find a way for our defense to just go, okay, for us to not give up a score for the rest of regulation for the last 25 minutes of the game, it was crazy. I thought they were going to steamroll us for the rest of that game. I was just hoping we could hold them to field goals, but for us to completely shut them out for the rest of regulation tells me a lot about this defense. I was impressed. I didn't expect that. So, that was exhausting, but, one of the best games. It was a great day of college football, and this was a good way to cap it off. And I'm happy we got out there with the win. And, I'm probably wasting my time doing this because obviously this team is unpredictable. But looking at the ahead schedule and, with the way this team plays, they've lost to two redeemably bad teams or lesser teams. You got Brigham Young and Arizona State. Those are two teams that on paper we should beat, and we didn't. Brigham Young is not very good this year. Arizona State is, I don't know if they're good or not this year, but at home you should win that game. And then, we beat USC when they were ranked number 18, and now we beat Oregon State. They were ranked 24, so maybe you shouldn't even try and predict anything with this team, but we got at Arizona. They're in the top 20. I don't think I see it, but it is the kind of game that we will probably give ourselves an opportunity to win. But I don't know if I see it. So we'll see about that one. But it is the kind of team that we can pull the upset on. And then we got Stanford the next week at home. I almost hate burning a home game against Stanford because they are really good this year. They're probably a cut above teams like USC and Oregon State. And I don't know, but if you can X that one out. And then we go to Oregon, and right now Oregon's the best team in the nation. I think they are anyway. So I'm just hoping they take pity on us, basically. But that would put us at 3-6, and then we close out the season home against UCLA. That should be a win. If we don't win that one, I don't know what to say. It wouldn't terribly surprise me, I guess, but we should win that one. And then you got California. At California, they're not ranked this year. They're not anything special. If we can find a way to sneak that one out, we put ourselves in good shape. And then we go to Washington State for the Apple Cup. That, if we don't handily win that one, we don't deserve anything. But, looking ahead, if we can find a way to sneak out that Stanford game, we put ourselves in great position for a bowl run. If not, if we do go 0-3 over the next 3 weeks, we're still in position. All we got to do is win out against currently unranked opponents. So I think we're back on track to where it's reasonable to expect a 6-win season, and probably a bowl game will come with that. So we're back on track. I'm happy, and I'm glad it happened because I don't know what to expect tomorrow, but I'm not expecting much good. So this has been a long video, but I just want to say we're kind of back in it, and these next 3 weeks we're going to see how serious we want to take this bowl season. So see you guys later. I'm out.